You mentioned Wellman. You obviously don't have a lot of guys in that role, but you need a couple, right? I mean,
You need a
it's
lot of
proven.
those guys. I mean, that's the bloodline of your team. You know, it's that guy will do more for us than another guy will, because he's going to play on every special teams. He's going to do the dirty work that the high profile guys can't do. So that's what your team is made of, up of a bunch of guys like that. And Eli's a great guy to have.
Wendell Smallwood.
And Wendell Smallwood, you know, the fact that he can graduate early and get in here and get about 15 or so practices in the spring is going to help him a lot. Again, he's a guy that you bring in at 195 pounds as a true freshman, you know, 5'11". That's going to be a tremendous football player and athlete. Can help us on special teams early, and also be a guy that some of the older guys have told me that he's doing a great job catching the ball, picking up the plays, picking up the offense. So there's no doubt, you know, with him graduating early and going through spring, he'll be a guy that can help us early last year. So great attitude so far, is going to be a good player.
Alford is a guy that I guess you envision as a slot more than a running back. I mean, how do you use him, or do you use him maybe a little both?
You know what? You know, he's a guy that's definitely a special football player, because you can do so many things with him. You know, and obviously the ways that we use Tavon this year, found different ways to get his hands on the ball, are going to be the same things we do with Mario. So he'll spend some time with me, and he'll spend some time in the receiver group, and we'll just find different ways to give him the ball.
You mentioned pass protection. Did you identify that in postseason film evaluation as a problem from the backfield or something, or was it?
No, we've never had a problem with pass protection. I have a room full of smart guys. They understand what we do scheme wise. They're not afraid to stick their nose in there and do the dirty work. Andrew Bowie was one of the best pass protectors that I had in my room at 185 pounds. So that's never been an issue with the guys that we have here.
The NFL has obviously gone to a lot more shared duties in the backfield. Not one guy, 27 carries, but two guys, 13, 14. Yep. Ideally, that's a goal.
Well, I mean, the goal is the guy that's making plays, you keep giving him the ball. You know, and I don't think we ever go for a set number, and we have no idea what's going to happen. You know, the play caller just gets into a groove, and the guy that's making plays, you continue to give him the ball. So if it's a 31 carry night versus Texas, or 21 times that Tavon Austin carries the ball, you just kind of go with the flow of the game. But we definitely want to play as many guys as we can. Last year we didn't have that luxury, because we didn't have the depth that we wanted. But this year I think we'll be able to keep healthy guys and guys that are fresh in the football game.
Any of these guys special teams candidates? Return obviously is a place you've got to fill as well.
Well, to me, I think as a running back, you want to sign guys that can help you in the special teams area. I mean, if you have guys in that room that cannot play special teams, you're in trouble. You know, so we feel like Dreamus is a guy that if he's not a starter, he's a guy that will plug into a few special teams. Andrew Bowie this year was on 3 of them. Would have put him on more, but we just couldn't, because he was a starter. And Wendell Smallwood, he's a young guy, and Elijah Wellman. Those guys will be able to come in and help us very, very fast, because those guys physically can help us on special teams from day one.
Mm-hmm. But you talk about a guy like Dreamus. He's supposed when you're recruiting a junior college player, you want him to come in and start essentially right away.
We don't make promises. He looked at the depth and said that in his mind that he would have an opportunity to come in and compete. But we didn't make him any promises, and he didn't want one. But I think as a kid that's coming from junior college, obviously he made a strategic decision. Based on the math. I mean, he looked at who we had returning. He looked at the size of those guys and saw that he could be different from those guys. So he'll be given an opportunity to come in and play as much as he proves that he should play.
Last question: how are Dustin's knee and how's Andrew Boyd? How's our offseason going?
Going great. Going great, and it's going great because those guys finally are juniors. I mean, they're older guys. They play more snaps on our offense than anybody returning. You talk about Dustin Garrison as a true freshman, rushed for almost 900 yards. Andrew Bowie, the next year as a true sophomore, he rushed for about 850. So those guys are the leading guys that have put up numbers in this offense. So they're confident, they're working hard. And the fact that 2 other running backs are here early, one's a junior college guy and one's a guy that's a high school kid, that competition is making these guys work harder so far this offseason.
Are leaders stepping up now that Gino Tavon is stepping up, going? Are offensive leaders starting to show themselves in the weight room?
Yeah, they are. I think last year around this time, the whole talk was about how great we were, and then going into the off seasons was how great we were going to be. And the great thing for us is that we don't have to worry about that this year. There won't be many teams talking about how great we are. There'll be a lot of people saying how we won't be able to replace those guys. And I think our players are using that as motivation so far. So this offseason has been a more team concept. That's one of the things we talked about, team. And I think that's going to pay off for us this year.